One of the best things you can do, especially at a young age, to really just save yourself a huge burden of financial trouble is simply not falling in love with materialistic items. It's like ever since I was maybe in seventh or eighth grade, I always hear guys talking about cars. And they would somehow know every single model from their favorite brand, usually a luxury brand. And they would always talk about how when they're older they want to own it and how they want to own a multitude of cars. And the other friends would chime in and say that car isn't fast enough. There's an even faster version out on the market, so we should get that instead. And growing up now and just getting to the age where I am now, I realized that's kind of crazy that people are willing to spend so much money on cars. And I understand if you really do like it, then, I'm not going to be the one to tell you how to spend your money. And if you can actually afford it, then I guess by all means, you can buy it. And you should buy it if it will bring you joy. But most of the time, it never brings people as much joy as they think. They want that super fast sports car that has a blue paint on the outside and like the boxy interior and the super nice sporty rims, and they put a lot of time towards getting that. If they're making 100K a year, it might take them 5 years before they can actually afford it. So they work really hard for 5 years and they get that money, and then they buy it and they drive it around. They drive it home from the dealership super happy, and they're telling all their friends. They're posting it on social media, and then they're taking those car photos. You know what I'm talking about? Where like they'll be sitting on the driver's seat, and then they'll lift up the door and kind of look back. You know what I'm talking about? If I could find a photo, I'll throw it up in there for you guys. But I've just never been able to understand what is so cool about these cars. I guess the interior and the exterior, the way it looks is very appealing to some guys. But being able to justify spending the money in which they cost to buy one of them, I could never do that. I couldn't imagine myself just being able to justify that, because you because you can get the same experience of driving that car. You can just rent it. And most of the time these cars, they require a lot of maintenance. Like a lot of maintenance. So in reality, it's not just the money that you're buying the car shirt out for. It's also to uphold it, how to make sure it runs good and it runs consistently. And that's a lot more expense that you have to account for. Not only financially, but mentally as well. It's going to be very frustrating seeing and having to deal with all the maintenance issues. There could be a day you're ready to go to the gym. You woke up super early. You took your pre-workout. You're feeling tingly. You're ready to go to the gym. You hop into your car. You turn the car. You turn the keys, or if it's push to start, you try to start it and it doesn't work. You think that's odd, and then you give it a few seconds, and then you try it again. It still doesn't work. And you call the dealership, and they're saying it's your fault and that you haven't been taking good care of the car, when in reality you have. You've been treating that car like your baby. You just got it. How could you have managed to mess it up so fast? So you call up an exotic car shop, and they say they'll send a guy over to look at it. They do, and they get there within about 2 hours. So now you just have been stuck at home in your garage, just bubbling with pre-workout that probably going to wear off soon, and you're just so annoyed that the car that you just got, the car you just bought doesn't work right now, and it's just being a pain in the butt. And then the guy gives you a quote on how much to fix it, and it's a lot, but you really like the car, and what are you gonna do now? You can't just walk to the gym. You can't just Uber to the gym. That's not as cool as it would be to pull up in that new sports car, right? So you get it fixed, and it needs a replacement in the engine, so you get it replaced, whatever. 2 weeks later, you're driving down and you hear a pop in the tire. And before you know it, you see your tire just rolling on the side of the road ahead of you. And you are scared, you're terrified. So then you pull over to the side and you call the same guy. He assures you that everything will be okay, and then he comes and picks you up about an hour and a half later. So you're stuck on the side of the road for an hour and a half waiting for this guy to come. He comes, he helps you out, he tows you back, brings you back to the shop, and then he gives you the bill. It is what it is. You pay it off. You understand that. It's just part of the game. It's part of the lifestyle, right? You're sure that all rich people are going through this. This is definitely a rich person problem. It's a problem that you don't mind too much having, right? There's worse situations that it could be in. But then the problems don't stop. You realize that this is a reoccurring issue. Every few weeks, there's just something that gets wrong with this car, something that just slows you down and annoys you. And it gets to a point where you don't even want to drive this car anymore. It's so much of a headache and a burden that it doesn't give you any joy when you start up the engine anymore. Sometimes the engine doesn't even start. Sometimes it gives you so much fear that you don't want to drive it because you know that there's a good chance it starts to cost you some more money. Now I want you to think to yourself, was this car truly worth buying? And the thing is, you're going to continue to spend money on it because you have an attachment towards it. See, when you buy something of such prestige and such expensiveness, it's going to feel like an investment. And you're not going to want to ever back out of it or get rid of it because of how emotionally you're attached to this vehicle. And don't you think it's insane how you can be emotionally attached to something that's not a person or a living thing? It's a materialistic item. But here you guys are spending insane amounts of money on cars that don't even work half the time. And the maintenance is ridiculous. The amount of extra things you have to keep in mind. You can't even put regular gas in these vehicles. You gotta put in premium gas. You gotta have premium wheels. You gotta have, there's so much that goes into buying, maintaining these vehicles. And you need to really consider it before you actually make such a big purchase. Most of you guys, if you gave yourself an hour to genuinely think about if you should buy this car, if you should dedicate a few years of your life to buying this car, your mindset will change drastically. A lot of you guys will realize that it's not worth it. Just to what? Flex? Just to say you bought an expensive car? Just for it to break down? You can't even fit your friends in it. You can only fit 2 people and one other person besides you. And how much joy is that really going to give you? Yeah, I know it's going to be cool when you see people turn their head when they see you driving fast, but then you're going to get a ticket because a cop pulls you over. There's so much that goes into this, and it's just so unnecessary. The best thing you can do is just never get into cars. Simply never be one of those guys that goes on social media or goes on any search engine and just types in luxury cars or watch like car modding videos. And the thing is, it's not even just the super rich cars or the super expensive luxury cars that people spend crazy amounts of money on. There's guys that will literally make their car from scratch. Like obviously not like the factory way, but like they'll get let's say they get like an O2 car, and then they make sure the engine is super loud. They change the rims so that the car is like super, like the what's it called? The tires kind of cave inwards. They lower the suspension so it's super low to the ground. Don't you think it's comical that people do this? That they'll go really, really fast, but then there's like the little speed bump that they have to stop completely on. They go, and then they speed up, and there's another speed bump. They go, like it's crazy to me, and the guys just get so much joy out of this. And how much does it truly bring you? How is it leveling up your life? It's like it's a distraction and it's a waste of money. Instead, use that money for an experience. Use that money to go travel somewhere. Go on a nice vacation with some of your friends or your significant other or even some family members. There's so much more you can do with your money, and it really does hurt a lot of guys in the future because after 6 months of driving that car, they wish they never bought it in the first place. If you're still not sure on whether it's the best decision for you to buy this car or not, or buy it in the future, click the link in my description and book a call with me today. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say how it makes you upgraded in status in life, and if everybody around you is in like these luxury vehicles, if all your friends have it, then you need to have one, or if everyone in your neighborhood has a super nice car, you have to get one too. No, you don't. Who made up this ideology? The only person that thinks that is you, bro. Do you think anybody genuinely cares enough about the car that you drive? Don't get me wrong, obviously you should have a nice, clean car, but saying that you need to spend hundreds of $1,000s on a vehicle is insane. Majority of rich guys don't even do that. People that are earning double your income in 5 years, what you earn in 10 years, they earn in 1 year. And these guys are not even buying these things. If they don't even think they're worthy of buying it, what on earth makes you think you are? Lower your ego. Stop trying to impress everybody all the time. And even if you do impress people that aren't going to care about you because they're going to see a nicer car pass by you and forget all about yours. So this ideology you have that it can bring some value and that you need to have it to please other people is crazy. And most of the time you're just impressing other guys that don't even bring value to your life. It doesn't make sense. Impress guys with your confidence, your charisma, your knowledge, your wisdom, your business, your work, what you stand for, not by the car you drive.